Alice Munro, whose book Dear Life Stories is published by McClelland and Stewart, is not able to be here this evening. However, we are very fortunate to have celebrated Canadian stage, film, and television actress Nancy Beatty read on her behalf. Nancy's a four-time recipient of the Dora Mavor Moore Award for Theatre, two-time Gemini Award winner for television, currently performing in the world premiere of Rosa Laborde's Like Wolves in Ottawa. She came to Toronto tonight for this event on behalf of Alice Munro, whose work she greatly admires. In her brilliant new collection, Dear Life, Alice Munro's insights are beyond rare. With a few short phrases, she digs down to the very core of an individual life, then rockets back up to the social surface, seamlessly revealing what makes all of our lives both wondrous and wicked. Nancy.
Thank you. I'm really honored to be reading tonight for Alice Munro. It's great. This is from her short story, Dolly. That fall, there had been some discussion of death, our deaths. Franklin being 83 years old and myself 71 at the time, we had naturally made plans for our funerals, none, and for the burials, immediate, in a plot already purchased. We had decided against cremation, which was popular with our friends. It was just the actual dying that had been left out or up to chance. One day we were driving around in the country not too far from where we lived, and we found a road we hadn't known about. The trees, maples and oaks and others were second growth, though of an impressive size, indicating that there had been cleared land. Farms at one time, pastures and houses and barns. But not a sign of this was left. The road was unpaved but not untraveled. It looked as if it might see several vehicles a day. Maybe there were trucks that used it as a shortcut. This was important, Franklin said. No way did we want to be there for a day or two, or possibly a week, with no discovery. Nor did we want to leave the car empty, with the police having to tramp through the trees in search of our remains that the coyotes she would say coyotes, might already have gotten into. Also, the day must not be too melancholy. No rain or early snow. The leaves turned, but not many fallen. Plastered with gold as they were on that day, but perhaps the sun would not be shining, else the gold, the glamour of the day, might make us feel like spoilers. We had a difference about the note, that is, about whether we should leave a note or not. I thought that we owed people an explanation. They should be told that there was no question of a fatal illness, no onset of pain that blocked out the prospect of a decent life. They should be assured that this was a clear-headed, you might almost say, a light-hearted decision. Gone while the going is good. No, I retracted that. Flippancy, an insult. Franklin's idea was that any explanation at all was an insult. Not to others, but to ourselves. To ourselves. We belong to ourselves and to each other, and any explanation at all struck him as sniveling. I saw what he meant, but I was still inclined to disagree. And that very fact, our disagreement, seemed to put the possibility out of his head. He said that it was rubbish. All right for him, but I was too young. We could talk again when I was 75. I said that the only thing that bothered me a little was the way there was an assumption that nothing more was going to happen in our lives. Nothing of importance to us, nothing to be managed anymore. He said that we had just had an argument. What more did I want? It was too polite, I said. I have never felt that I'm younger than Franklin, except maybe when the war comes up in conversation. I mean the Second World War. And that seldom happens nowadays. For one thing, he does more strenuous exercise than I do. At one time, he was the overseer of a stable. I mean the sort of a stable where people board riding horses, not race horses. He still goes there 2 or 3 times a week and rides his own horse and talks to the man in charge who occasionally wants his advice. Though mostly, he says, he tries to keep out of the way. He is, in fact, a poet. He is really a poet, and really a horse trainer. He has held one-term jobs at various colleges, but never so far away that he can't keep in touch with the stables. He admits to giving readings, but only, as he says, once in a blue moon. He doesn't stress the poetic employment. Sometimes I am annoyed with his attitude. I call it his aw shucks persona. But I can see the point. When you're busy with horses, people can see that you are busy. But when you're busy at making up a poem, you look as if you're in a state of idleness and you feel a little strange or embarrassed having explained what's going on. Another problem might be that though he is a reticent sort of man, the poem that he's best known for is what people around here, that is where he grew up, are apt to call raw. Pretty raw, I've heard him say himself, not apologizing, but just maybe warning somebody off. He has a feeling for the sensibilities of those people he knows who can be upset by certain things, though he is a great defender of freedom of speech in general. Not that there haven't been changes around here concerning what you can say out loud and read in print. Prizes help, being mentioned in the papers. Thank you.